everybody? I just saw Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning last night, and let me tell you, it was better than I thought it was going to be. Now, let's get into this review. Starting off with my positives, I feel like the drama in this movie was really good, since you can really feel the weight that this is the final Mission Impossible movie. Unlike the 7th entry where it just felt like it was just another regular entry into the series. How when Luther died, I was crying because I was like, no, not my goat, Luther! Because Luther and freaking Benjamin were my favorite characters. And as soon as Benji looked like he was gonna die, I was like, there's no way they're gonna kill off both my favorite characters in the same movie. Thankfully they didn't. But I'm still really sad that Luther died. And it felt like there for like a few seconds at the end, I thought they were cooked. I thought they weren't gonna make it for a second. Now, moving on to my next positive is the action, which was pretty obvious which would come up. Since you go to a Mission Impossible movie to see the action, and let me tell you, the action set pieces we get in this movie do not disappoint. Like that submarine scene and the plane scene, ooh, those were good. It's all really in the second half though, which I'll get onto in the negatives. But let me tell you, the way Gabriel dies, when he just gets chopped in the head, only one of us has a parachute. That had me busted out laughing. That was mad funny. Moving on to my next positives, I have are the CGI. I could tell that they really let this movie bake in the CGI instead of feeling like rushed, like how I felt with Mission Impossible 7, since that CGI wasn't really that good. I felt like this one, I didn't really see any cracks, as I could know on my first watch. So yeah, it was pretty decent. Also, really impressive how you can't really tell that this was filmed during an actor's strike, since while they were filming Mission Impossible 8, there was an actor's strike during the middle of the shoot, so they had to pause production and then resume production after that, which you cannot tell that happened during the movie. You can't tell there was a cut or anything. Unlike in Mission Impossible 7, where you can obviously tell that it was filmed during COVID, which was one of my negatives for that movie. Now, moving on to my negatives, I felt like the pacing with like the first part felt kind of slow to pick up too. I kind of felt like it was like slugging on till we get to like the title card, which it was just kind of slowly building up for me is what I felt. But as soon as we hit that second part, that thing started flying and went crazy. And my other negative is definitely the flashback, since in the first part, you just get freaking absolutely blasted with flashbacks from every single movie. Like, I was just waiting there wondering if they were going to show the freaking Mission Impossible 2 fight between the two guys. That was absolutely ridiculous. That's probably the most flashbacks I've ever seen in a single movie. Now, I'd give Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning an 8 out of 10. Pretty enjoyable, but not the best of the best, but I'd say a pretty good movie. Now, moving on to the ranking part of this movie, since I watched all the Mission Impossible movies in order as preparation for the final one, I decided to add a ranking to the end of this review since I felt like it. Number 8, Mission Impossible 2. I feel like this is definitely the worst Mission Impossible film, and I feel like everybody else will agree with me. Definitely really goofy, and you can tell like this was written in the 2000s since of like the horrible writing with the main female character. And I felt like the goofiness was just led up to the extreme with this one. So yeah, not my favorite. Number 7, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Now, I thought this movie wasn't that good. I felt like it was okay, since the other Mission Impossible movies beforehand was just really good compared to this one. It just felt really rushed and not that well paced, especially with that like car chase scene. Felt like it went on for way too long. It was kind of like just pushed in the movie, just add an action scene. It's a decent movie. Now the rest of these movies I think are 8 out of 10s and above. So number 6, Mission Impossible 1. I feel like this movie still holds up, but rare occasion, the sequels are better than the original. But I still find enjoyment out of this first movie since it's really the foundation for this. Not the best stunts, but still enjoyable. It's a classic. Moving on to number 5 is Mission Impossible 3. I think that I pretty much enjoyed this one with the mystery of the rabbit's foot and how like Ethan doesn't feel that much powerful or like he can do anything against like the main antagonist. like the opening, showing that one scene of him interrogating him with the death of his wife, which I thought was a really cool, cold opening. Especially with the mystery of the rabbit's foot, which we actually got solved in this movie, which created the entity, actually, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, I felt like the mystery and the suspense of Mission Impossible 3 was really well done. So that's why I put it above the original. Moving on to number 4, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Well, you can see where I place this since I've already talked about it in this review, so I'm placing it at number 4 since I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Moving on to number 3, Mission Impossible 5, Rogue Nation. Now, I really enjoy this film since it's basically Ethan Hunt versus the anti-IMF, how Benji said it. And I really like the suspense of how we have Benji captured by like the main villain and everything at the end, and how like the chemistry really flows with this movie. I think it's one of the better sequels since the pacing feels really good and the action set pieces are really fun, especially with that opening with Ethan holding onto the plane. Moving on to number 2, Mission Impossible 4, Ghost Protocol. Now, I really like this one since of the ending with like the missile where it's like a near miss moment. It was about to explode, and then last second we just hear Ethan go, "Mission accomplished," and hit the button. That was suspense. That was crazy. I felt crazy adrenaline like never before when watching a Mission Impossible movie. And like during the suspense of all the build up to that, I was like, wow, this is great. Probably one of my favorites because of that ending. It really carried the rest of the film. And that one scene with like the climbing up the building and how his like glove started failing, that was really intense. It was one of my favorites, yeah. The best Mission Impossible film, number 1, Mission Impossible 6 Fallout. Now, this film is just untouched with the freaking Halo jump scene, Henry Cavill as John Locke, the freaking twist of how he wasn't actually there, and how they were all in corporate with him, and it was actually Benji with the mask on, and he got tricked. That was really cool. And the freaking final scene with him meeting his wife and then them fighting in the helicopters and like a near miss again, that was crazy. I feel like this is also everybody's favorite film, I'm pretty sure. But let me know in the comments your ranking. And this video will self-destruct in 5 seconds.